Welcome to the New Mom Talk podcast, your go-to podcast for evidence-based answers to your burning questions about parenting. Join us as we dive into commonly Googled topics and hear from experts and real moms. Let's navigate parenthood together, one question at a time. Hi, everyone. So today we're going to talk about a fertility doula, which I didn't know that was a thing. So clearly I continue to learn new things with this podcast, which I love. And maybe there's some of you out there that also didn't know this. So we have Taylor from Tailor-Made Doula Care, which I love that name. I think it's so cute.
Hey, Mariella, and hey, all of you beautiful listeners out there. I am so excited to be here. And I feel like that's honestly not very uncommon. Everyone, or I feel like a lot of people do know what a doula is today, but more so, I feel like the labor doula and postpartum doula oftentimes have the spotlight. So I'm really excited to come on here and talk about what I do as a fertility doula as well. Before we get into that, though, yes, my name is Taylor-Lynne. I am a registered nurse and I'm also a full spectrum doula. I always knew I wanted to work with maternity, labor, postpartum care, and just support families within that specific area. However, working in the hospital, it kind of didn't allow me to get in touch with the families and kind of get to know them on more of a organic level. Working as a doula, I definitely feel like I'm able to just have that continuity of care, build that rapport, and really get to know the families that I'm helping. So I'm so thankful to have this opportunity. As a doula and a full spectrum doula specifically, I'm able to work with families during their fertility journey, during labor and delivery, throughout pregnancy, and also support them during that pivotal moment of postpartum, the fourth trimester, which has just been a huge blessing to me personally to just be able to see how much transition and transformation really happens, not only for mom, but for the whole family once she has that new role of being a mother and has this new life that she's suddenly caring for around the clock. And it's just been such a beautiful time for me to be able to support the families that I have. I truly believe that we can create a brighter future and a more peaceful world with proper support within the home during that transition.
So you made two really good points. One, I feel like, yes, people are starting to realize what doulas are and the work that they do. I will admit that I didn't know the difference between a doula and a midwife before I started my podcast. And I think that's a very common thing. And then two,
Mhm.
that now that mothers or families know what doulas do, like it is so incredible. I always tell my husband, like, next baby, I would really, really love to have a postpartum doula to really be able to say, here's what I need help with. This is what would really provide me the support that I need. You may not be able to ask for from a family member or might not feel as comfortable, right? Whereas if you have somebody that you are paying to support you, it's very different and it's a lot easier to say, I could use your help here. And you might even have some other ideas and better ways to help, especially a new mom. And then there's also the fact that, yes, a lot of people don't know what a fertility doula is, but also that the changes that occur, oh my goodness, it's so crazy. The amount of tears in your hormones. And, if you have the hair loss right away, like for me, it was about 5 months or so when my hair started to fall out. But there's just so many things that your body goes through that you have no idea. And you have this tiny little human that you love so much. But having had that human now, that means you kind of forget who you are as a person. So having that help is so, so, so essential.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that just the little piece you brought up about your hair loss, right? And which makes me, it does hurt my heart to see because you have beautiful hair, beautiful, long, dark, thick hair. So looking at you now, I can definitely see that being a tough piece of pregnancy and postpartum that may have occurred for you. A lot of us move away from home and we find ourselves relocating, and without that support system that some people would have if they say decided to settle down in their hometown and they're surrounded by loved ones, family, friends who maybe they're more comfortable with asking for help postpartum, and asking your best friend from high school when she's over, oh, can you load the dishwasher for me? Or if your mom lives right down the block, can you come over so I can shower and can you watch the baby? I'm exhausted today. And these are things that a lot of us, it wouldn't be quite as hard, but when you have so many people today traveling so far, settling down much further from where their family and childhood friends are, it's not easy to ask someone who you've only known for a year time, but maybe your best friends now today here in this new place. Can you help me and sweep the floor? Can you help me and switch the laundry? Can you help me and watch the baby? So that's a huge point that you just made. And especially us as women, I feel like a lot of us have grown up with this idea that if we can do it, like we have to wear all the hats, we have to be super mom, we have to look good doing it, have everything homemade, laundry done, place looks good, and we're still hosting even though we're postpartum. A lot of us have this idea that that's kind of what it should look like, when I am so against that that picture. Definitely not, but especially us as women, like we're brought up to feel like we should be the caretakers, the nurturers, which we are. When we have a baby, we are that, but specifically only to our baby and to ourselves. And in that sense, very much so, especially in that fourth trimester, it is imperative that we kind of break through that previous mindset of I need to be catering to everyone around me. No, you are going to be mothered. Like, this is the time for you to just worry about yourself, mother that sweet baby, and have those around you lean in to your tribe and ask for help, ask for support for sure. So I love everything you just said right there.
Yeah, and it is so true that we have this idea that we're expected to do it all. I shouldn't need any help. And that was my mentality. And I had my mother-in-law here to help me, but it was hard for me to accept that help. And now having a 2-year-old next time around, oh, believe me, if you are coming over to meet my baby, you're going to be asked to help me, whether that's loading the dishwasher, throwing a load of laundry in the washer for me. Like, I'm going to have you actually do something for me because I realize I need it. And even now, as a mother of a toddler, like I ask for my family to watch my son so I can have a breather.
That's huge. No, I'm honestly so proud of you for being able to be at that place, because something that I've noticed and I've seen with this work is that seeking support is a sign of strength. I mean, it can be vulnerable, but it doesn't mean you're weak by any means. Asking for help truly is the best thing that you can do, especially in this moment. And something that I've found that can be like a helpful exercise for any mamas out there who may be struggling to do that, to ask for help, and who may feel like if they have the idea in their head, oh, I wonder if I could ask this person to pick up flowers for me or to stop at the grocery store. But if they have that feeling in their gut that kind of feels like, ooh, I can't do that. A good exercise could actually be is switching it around in your head and thinking, okay, well, if I just had a baby and Mariella was coming over, it may feel uncomfortable for me to ask her to stop at the grocery store, but hold on. Let me flip it around. Say Mariella is having her second baby. I'm going over to say congratulations. Would I feel upset, or would I be turned off at all or offended if she were to ask me to stop and pick up milk on the way over, or to flip that load of laundry, or to unload those dishes? Like, what would my personal response be? And 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to be thrilled that you've asked me to do that for you. I'm going to feel needed, and I'm going to feel helpful, and I'm going to feel like I'm making a difference and supporting you. And it's like a two-way street. I don't know how to really word it in a better way, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of naturally like to help families that just had a baby because you know that they need it, especially if you are in that position. So, with all of that said, let's start off with describing, if you could tell us, what is a fertility doula?
So, a fertility doula is a non-medical professional who is there to offer you support through education, emotional support, and also physical support to anyone who's on their fertility journey. It's really a hired best friend who has the education and resources and experience, who's very familiar with the layout and the world of reproductive health and fertility and infertility. And that can just kind of walk with you through the trials and tribulations along your fertility journey.
I'm kind of thinking that you would probably provide somebody like educate them in the sense of like, here's how you determine when you're most fertile or when you would be a good time to try. So instead of me just making these assumptions, how do you support families?
That's a great question. So, how a fertility doula supports families is going to look different for depending on what each family is and the educational level of each family, what their history is, if they already have kids before, because sometimes it's not always that it's the very first that it's going to be the very first baby that the family's kind of noticing, hey, we've been trying for a little while and we're kind of struggling here, maybe we should seek some help. Sometimes a family can have multiple kids, and for some reason, there's just struggling to get, add that extra addition into the mix. So, the support a fertility doula provides is always going to look different, but you're spot on. That could for sure mean education on basic kind of reproductive health and anatomy of women's and men's bodies, and how to calculate and to guesstimate your fertile window. It can also look like a lot of families that I've worked with in the past want to use holistic and more natural ways before jumping into seeing a infertility specialist who maybe specializes with medications, procedures, etc. So before going there, they may want to seek the assistance of a fertility doula to hear about what changes to their diet and lifestyle may be applicable to help boost their chances at becoming pregnant, or what other holistic modalities may be helpful as well. Like acupuncture is a very, very like a wealth. It can help so many things, but especially when it comes to hormonal balance and energetic flow that are needed when wanting to become pregnant. So it could also look like if a family has a lot of stress. So stress has been known to decrease your chances of fertility. So it could look like me sitting down with a client, going over just getting to know pretty much everything about them, getting into their lifestyle, their diet, any supplements they may be taking, what they do for work, what their stress levels like, and going over it's very holistic. So that's one thing that I really love.
I love that. When you mentioned acupuncture, I always say this. It makes me think of that episode in Sex in the City where Charlotte goes and she hears about everyone's getting acupuncture and all they were able to get pregnant. So I love that you mentioned that and that it's not just like something that happened in an episode, but it can help, right?
I had no
I had
idea.
no
I had no
idea.
I had
idea.
no idea.
I had no
I had
idea.
no idea.
If you've ever said, I had no idea when it came to your parenting journey, followed by a smile, laugh, or cry, then listen up because this is for you. My name is Kelly, a stay-at-home mom of two wild, crazy, and fun little girls and host of Oh Baby, I Had No Idea, the podcast/YouTube channel. Each week, you'll get to hear my laid-back chats with other moms and dads from around the world as we explore some of our I had no idea parenting moments throughout our pregnancies, births, postpartum, and of course, the joyful chaos that is everyday lives with kids. You'll also get a wide variety of behind-the-scenes looks into some not-so-often-talked-about topics that need so much more awareness. If you're looking for something that's entertaining / semi-educational / might just make you feel a little less crazy in your own parenting journey, then this is it. Just type in Oh Baby, I Had No Idea in your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube to join us in the fun. See you there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the more preliminary, just in the beginning, how a fertility doula helps you. But moving forward from that, because everyone's path to pregnancy looks different. Unfortunately, there's no cookie cutter way to ensure that the very first time you're going to get pregnant is going to result in a full term, healthy pregnancy, delivery, baby. So, a fertility doula is also amazing with just walking with you through that entire course, and they can go with you to appointments because some of the appointments later on down the line may be pretty invasive, and it's not something that anyone would really want to do on their own. And sometimes we have single mamas who are going through this journey and just have maybe put their career first. It is a lot for anybody, especially, I mean, whether or not you have a partner, it can be a lot. So going through all of that kind of solo just is much more daunting, and it can feel really, really tough. So having a fertility doula or hiring a full spectrum doula is actually an amazing, amazing service and opportunity to have a confidant, an educated professional who knows you inside and out, and is able to be there for you and be that support person throughout the whole process. So that's really big too.
I know it's going to vary, but at what point would a family reach out to you? Would it be like, let's say, hey, we're going to start trying. And if you could also share some benefits of hiring a fertility doula. I know you already
Yeah.
shared some, but I'd love to just kind of dive into all of that and
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. So honestly, most common clients will reach out to me once they've already discovered that there's a problem, quote unquote, or that they're having more obstacles actually conceiving, and that they've already gone through, they've talked to their primary care provider, maybe they're thinking about seeing an infertility specialist, or they already have. And they know that there's either an anatomical reason that they're kind of struggling and chances are slimmer. So they're kind of feeling the air out of their balloons a little more deflated. And they're kind of like, now we kind of decided we want to seek this extra support. That's the most common. However, that being said, Mariella, I definitely am a full supporter and encourager of anyone who is deciding that within the next year of time they want to be pregnant. That is still a beautiful time to reach out to a fertility doula and to start making just start thinking about it and start reaching for that support, because the stress isn't so high, morale is usually much higher. And ultimately, when it comes to starting a family, we all want it to be a joyful, loving, happy experience in time. I find that the majority of clients who come to me later on down the line, like I said, they're usually much more deflated and just they're feeling more hopeless in a way. And that's always a heartbreaking sight. And oftentimes when they do come to me, there are so many different natural remedies and more holistic healing modalities that they haven't tried yet that could really boost their chances. And usually things aren't as bad as they appear. And there's lots to do and lots of support that I can offer. So I'm definitely a big supporter of the sooner the better. And yeah, even just having that resource and making a contact. And then one other thing that doulas are really great for is we are wonderful networkers within the community. And for all of our clients, we love to have a tried and true vetted, whether it's lactation consultant, acupuncturist, chiropractic care who works with either pregnant mamas and newborns, one or the other, craniosacral, pelvic floor therapists, all of these things. It's part of my job to make sure I know within my community a good, someone that I trust for my clients for all of these things. So it's a wealth of knowledge and resources when you go to a doula for any sort of support.
can a fertility doula be covered by insurance?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. I know that it definitely depends on your insurance provider and the state. So you always want to look into that beforehand. and talk to reach out to your insurance. That being said, I know that I was looking into this more recently, and I did see that the Department of Health Care Services for California do cover doula. They do cover doula support. However, it is pretty specific to on there. I believe I specifically only saw labor and also postpartum specifically written on the website, and they are specific about the number of hours for postpartum care and prenatal care and during labor. So it's just a really good idea to make sure that you're reaching out ahead of time, explaining what type of support you're looking for if they cover it. And then I did not see a monetary value either. So it may be a percentage of the total services, depending on everything. That being said, though, a lot of doulas, almost every doula that I know is willing to work on a sliding scale model financially for clients. And also majority of them do also offer payment plans. So the goal is to offer support to anybody who really seeks it out. And if some doulas have like a higher pay rate and if it's an absolutely, unfortunately, they're unable to go any lower, they are almost 100% of the time going to refer you to a doula that they know who is within your budget. So that's a really great tool and thing to know as well.
Awesome. And is there any other tips, suggestions, or recommendations for anyone that is looking into a fertility doula or a doula in general?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think before you had asked me, and I think I missed it a little bit, but you had asked me also about benefits of hiring a fertility doula. So I'll
Yes.
answer both. When it comes to the benefits of hiring a fertility doula, especially today, it's much more common for couples or singles to struggle with fertility. And it's become much more common for those of us to experience miscarriages and have just fertility issues like that. It can take a real toll on your emotional and mental health. And it's something that, like we said before, there's no cookie cutter way of ensuring a healthy full term pregnancy the very first time. So what I would love to shed some light on is how common it is. You are not alone within this journey. There are people out there and support groups out there who are here to hear your story and offer some support and resources 100%. The road to starting a family or adding to your family can feel like an emotional roller coaster at times, and it can be filled with speed bumps and obstacles for sure. Some days this can look like lots of appointments with specialists, traveling to see specific doctors or have specific procedures done, supplements, hormone injections, medications, and sometimes multiple invasive procedures. A lot of the clients who I've worked with in the past who have dealt with all of this have shared with me lots of feelings of frustration, guilt, and sometimes even shame around whether just struggling to conceive or maybe multiple miscarriages being a thing. I've had mamas really come to me with tears in their eyes, struggling. Their words, "This is the one thing my body should be doing. How come I'm struggling in this situation?" They just take all of that emotion and they kind of like hold it in. And in that way, a lot of them aren't feeling open to sharing the emotional aspect and the emotional kind of debilitation of their journey with those around them. Similar to in the beginning when we were talking about how it's so hard for so many of us just to ask for someone to stop at the store for us on their way over or to flip the laundry or unload the dishwasher. So many of us struggle with being vulnerable and sharing these struggles with even our closest friends and family. And these are things that no one should ever have to go through alone. And having a professional doula by your side is like having an educated, supportive best friend who's also a shoulder to lean on, cry on, and to also help you see the light again after some of the trials and tribulations that you may face on your fertility journey. So for any advice I have for any clients or people, families who may be thinking about hiring a fertility doula or any doula in general, 100% I'm an advocate for sure. And that you really advocate for not only your health and your mental health postpartum with, like you mentioned, all of the hormones and the identity shifting and everything that goes along with becoming a mom for the first time, but also for your whole family and for your baby. I haven't seen anything but positive benefits that come from hiring and having that extra support of a doula. So definitely it's an investment that is worth its weight in gold, I guess I would say. I think it's a short-term investment for long-term success and health and all the good
Sleep
things.
and
Yes.
sleep.
Yes, catch those Z's for sure. And interview with many doulas, definitely. Reach out, reach out to many doulas, look at their pages, ask for testimonials, and find someone who not only has the checklist that you're wanting, but find someone that you feel you connect with on a personal level, and that you can have a conversation like this and really feel like you have a genuine sense of who that person is. Does it mesh well with you and your family? Can you see them coming into your home? Or would you look forward to meeting them for coffee and sharing these vulnerable personal details with? That's, I think, one of the most important things for sure.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think this is awesome. Like I said, next time around, I'm for sure going to be getting a postpartum doula. I appreciate you taking time to go over this. I learned a lot today, and I hope that listeners out there learned a lot about fertility doulas.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Mariella. It was amazing to be here. So thank you.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode. You can find us on Instagram for more updates and tips. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and give us a review if you like us.